Hello everybody, welcome back or welcome if you're new here. My name is Elisa and I'm the host of this channel. So today I have planned a sort of knitting, summer knitting planning video and also a summer knitting inspo video. I'm doing a sort of a mix, let's say, just because I think that these two things go well together, and also because I think that I will talk about a lot of patterns and I don't think I will be able to knit everything I will talk to you about today. But first let's start with some information as always. So my name is Elisa, I'm 25 years old and I've been a knitter for 3 years and I'm still a knitter, of course. I'm currently living in the Netherlands, especially in Amsterdam, but I'm from Italy, the northern part of Italy, and I moved here just for an internship and I will probably be back in Italy in like a month, and I'm pretty sad about it. So you can find me here on YouTube, of course, at Elisa Knitting Stories, or you can also follow me on Instagram at the same handle, which is at Elisa Knitting Stories, of course. Everything will be linked down below, and of course if you would like to support me, please hit the like button and also the subscribe button and go over to my Instagram. So as I was telling you, this is a knitting, summer knitting plans and inspo video. I think that I really need this video actually, because always knitting in summer is always a little bit hard for me because of course it's very hot, it's very warm, and sometimes really my inspiration drops down. Of course this year is a little bit better because I'm living in the Netherlands, and so the weather is like a little bit, yeah, it's a little bit chilly, but not always. While in Italy, yeah, in this moment I think that there are 35 degrees in Italy, and I wouldn't know how to knit if I was there. So yeah, I'm very happy to be here, if you couldn't say that. So actually for my knitting inspo I have prepared some notes in my little notebook, which is nothing special, just to keep, you know, track of what I will say, because it's very hard to focus and concentrate during making these videos. And I will also take my computer because I have all the patterns and things in there. Also, excuse me if you can hear some background noises. I've just changed house because yeah, my contract in the previous house finished like the day before yesterday, and so I'm in a new house, but there's a pretty busy street down there, and yeah, so I'm very sorry for background noises, but hopefully you will be able to hear me. So I'm taking my computer because I would like to first of all tell you a little bit more about my approach to this knitting summer. First of all, I would like to explain to you a little bit more about the structure of this video. So I will explain what is my general idea about this summer, for knitting this summer. I will explain why I made some choices, and this has a lot to do with what I knitted last summer. After that I will show you my summer mood board, which is something I'm very proud of actually, because this is my first mood board. And after that I will tell you a little bit more about my choices, like for example color choices, and also of course pattern choices. So I think that we can start. So first of all, about my general idea for this summer. So last summer I've knitted a lot of camis and a lot of tees, which all had one structure, which now I find pretty boring, because of course I'm like an intermediate slash advanced knitter, I would define myself. I've tried a lot of things, of course, no, not almost everything, but I'm pretty confident that if I find something new, I will be able to succeed and find my way through it, let's say. So last year I've knitted a lot of camis which all had one structure, that was knitting 4 triangles, then joining all of them, and after that knitting in the round. And this year I can't stand it. I find it pretty boring. I think that yeah, I need like a period without this type of construction. So first of all, I would love to try some new constructions, and second of all, I would like to try to knit different types of garments, not just camis, not just camisoles, and not just sleeveless tops, because I think that I need a more versatile wardrobe. When I say versatile, I really mean different pieces which could be used in a lot of ways, and now I will explain myself better. I mean that I would like some garments that I could use not just in summer as, for example, sleeveless tops or very light layers, but also in other seasons as layers, meaning, for example, tops underneath to wear underneath maybe sweaters or cardigans and so on. So this is my general idea, and versatility, I think, is the main topic here. And second of all, I'm showing you my my mood board. So here's my mood board, and you can see first of all that I put here some of the patterns that I will talk to you about later on in the video, and I'm watching my computer, and this is why I'm not looking directly at you. And I've also included some color choices in these circles. So starting with the colors, first of all, this year I fell in love with neutral colors, especially with whites, and especially with very light and let's say very bright neutrals. For example, I really love that kind of almondy color that is usually named marzipan in a lot of for a lot of knitting brands. And after that, like every year, probably pink and green are my favorite colors to knit with. So for this year, I have in mind to choose very pastely pinks and almost very saturated pinks, and I have in mind to choose very bright greens, and especially lime greens. And I know that knitting with lime green is a knitting trend this year, also from the moment in which starting from the moment when Emily from High Fiber Knits underlined this trend back in spring, I think. But I really love this color, and I think it goes just perfectly with my wardrobes that is full of neutrals, that is full of like whites and very light colors, and also full of jeans and so on. And so I think that this lime green could really be the perfect pop color for my wardrobe. And after that, I also decided to include a yellow, which is not a very cold and light yellow, but it's a very like warm yellow, almost orangey yellow, let's say. And this is because yeah, I found myself very drawn to it. Probably I also miss a little bit of the Italian like atmosphere and light, which is always very very warm and hot. And so yeah, if I find the perfect yellow that I have in mind, I will probably not need something for myself in yellow. One thing that I would like to understand, how to underline, however, is the fact that I will try to prioritize my stash. So since I'm not living at home back in Italy, I don't have a huge stash. I have I have some cakes and I have some skeins here, and I don't want to buy too much yarn because I am very worried about how will I be able to bring everything back to Italy. So I will try to prioritize the things that I have here, and maybe I will buy some new yarn when I go back home. So yeah, this is my general idea for the colors I would like to use, but at the same time, if I have some colors which are not those already here with me, like some blues or some, I don't know, purples or things like that, I will try to use them instead of buying new yarn, of course. So we can start with the patterns, and about the patterns I already explained which is my main idea and general idea, and I will tell you the progression and the logic that I followed in presenting you this pattern. So I started with the lighter garments, going up to the heaviest and warmest ones, also trying to think about a logic, like now that we are in the heart of summer, I will try to knit lighter garments, and then when the summer will be like sliding and gliding into autumn, I will try to knit warmer garments, maybe some sweaters, some light sweaters and some cardigans. So this is my general idea, from the lighter garment to the warmer one. And yeah, another thing is that I chose some type of garments that I would like to knit, and then I decided I just found the perfect pattern that I'm very curious to try. When I already have assigned a specific yarn that I already have here to a pattern, I will also show you a little bit about it, and I will also show you my choice. So I think that we can start, and the first type of garment that I would like to knit for myself this year is a bralette. So I've never knitted a bralette in my life, and I'm very curious about it. And the idea of knitting a bralette came to me when I first knitted, like 1 or 2 months ago, a pattern by Naked Knit, and I think that there's nothing better for underwear and very comfy garments than Naked Knit. And one pattern that has always caught my eyes from Naked Knit is actually the wrap top or bra. So the wrap top or bra is a cozy classic piece of underwear in a wrap design. The yarn weight is DK and the gauge is 30 stitches per 10 centimeters in stockinette stitch, but it says, and it doesn't say anything more. So the sizes available actually are small, medium and large, but actually I know that usually patterns from Naked Knit follow kind of very customizable type of constructions that you cast on the perfect number of stitches based on your own measurements. So I'm not too worried about the number of sizes that are here, because I know that usually they are very size inclusive, exactly because they give you the perfect they give you instructions on how to create the perfect piece based on your own measurements. What I really like about this bralette is the fact that you could also turn it into a top. And I think that this is the best part, because I have I think I have the perfect yarn to use for it, which is Coast by Holst Garn, which I used for my Sailor Swift top. And I have a lot of leftovers, and I think that this has the perfect gauge, but I have a lot, and probably if I knitted a bralette, it wouldn't be enough. What I would have left wouldn't be enough to knit myself another garment. And the fact that I could choose to knit a top instead of a bralette could give me the possibility to use up all the yarn that I have, and also to have the perfect piece that I could use both in summer as a sort of sleeveless top, but also in the winter or autumn as layering piece underneath maybe a cardigan or underneath a sweater. So this is why I'm very curious about this, and why I'm very drawn towards it. I really love the also the fact that this garment seems to really hug your chest. And yeah, I really love this piece. The more I look at it, the more I desire it. After that, I decided to knit myself some top, but as I told you, I don't want a very classic construction. I want something new because I'm very tired of the classic construction made of 4 pieces and then joined in the round and then you knit in the round. And I think that I found the perfect top in, of course, one of Petit Knit's pattern. And this is the June top, both in the DK version and in the light, meaning fingering version. This is the perfect top because Petit Knit actually says that the June top light is, or the June top in general, is worked from the bottom up, but the pattern also gives you another option, which is that of starting with a provisional cast on, so that you can start in the middle, of course knit the top from the bottom up, and then go down and knit the body of the exact length that you want, or in my case, based on the length that I could reach based on the yarn quantity that I have. And I say so because I plan to knit my June top, if I knit my June top, with some leftover yarns. So in my last podcast episode, you've seen that I was knitting the Minu top as a test knit for knitting deer, and actually I have 2 entire skeins leftovers, and I have 2 skeins of leftovers of BC Garn Bio Balance. Let me show you just one. BC Garn Bio Balance in this beautiful lavender color. So I know that this should be enough to knit a size small of the June top by Petit Knit, but I don't know how long I should knit it, so I think it would be safer for me to do that thing of the provisional cast on and then knit the top part and then knit the bottom. And I also plan to mix this yarn because I don't want 2 tops of the exact same color. And I had some leftovers of a very thin yarn that I used to knit my naked tee back like 1 month ago or so. And I decided to mix these 2 yarn to create a new texture or something. I started to make my actually my gauge swatch, so maybe I can show you what I have for now. This is my gauge swatch. And I think that the texture and also the color is very nice, and I can't wait to have this top for myself. I think that the gauge is more similar to the June top light, so I will tell you a little bit more about the June top light. So it's knitted with a fingering weight yarn, and the gauge is 28 stitches per 40 rows in stockinette stitch. There are a lot of sizes available, from extra small to 3XL. And I just love this piece because of the like, first of all, it's bra friendly, and I think that this is very important for me because I don't feel very confident and comfortable with not wearing a bra. And yeah, about the construction, I've already told you a lot, so I don't think there's much more to say. But yeah, the suggested yarn is actually Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, which I've never tried, but maybe I would try this summer because I love their color selection, and I know that they have, I'm not sure that they have a lime green, but I know that they have also a lot of yellows. So maybe if I want to be sure to have a nice garment in yellow, I should go with it. For the category top, I also have a favorite, another top that I'm really curious to try, and actually it's on my to knit list since I think 2021 or something, and I've never found the right like mind space to knit it. It's Camisole number 3 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and I think that this is one of the most underrated patterns in the knitting world. I just love this piece. I just love the fact that it's so airy, it's so light, it has so much space, and actually not many people knitted it, and this is very surprising to me. It's so My Favorite Things Knitwear describes this top as a feminine summer top in a bohemian style worked in brioche stitch. So maybe it's the brioche stitch. Of course, it requires a lot more yarn than a normal stockinette stitch top, but I really like it. It's knitted top, it's worked top down, but I think that knitting it in brioche stitch will make it very very fun to knit and also very interesting to knit. So yeah, okay, I would try this construction. And the sizes available actually go from an extra small to a double XL. So that the circumference of the finished garment go from 91 centimeters to 116 centimeters. And yeah, the gauge is in brioche stitch using 3mm needles, and it's 17 stitches per 25 rows for every 10 centimeters. I think that this could be a very interesting garment to have, a very also versatile garment, because usually sleeveless tops are very tight, but in this case it's very light and airy, and so yeah, I really like it. And I would probably choose not an animal fiber, but maybe a cotton bamboo blend or a cotton silk blend, something which is lighter, or maybe a cotton linen blend, because with brioche stitch you need a little bit more of structure, because it tends to really become bigger and enlarge with washing and blocking. So after that, so we go up with the level of warmth, and I really think I need a tee. I really think I need a knitted tee, and actually it's very hard to choose between between all the tees that were published this year. I have in mind, for example, some of these tees, like the Air Tee by Ozetta, but she had already published the Harvest Tee, if I'm not wrong, and she has a lot of tee patterns, so I would really suggest you to go and check her patterns if you want to knit yourself a tee. There's also the Poppy Tee by of course Petit Knits, but probably the one that really caught my eyes is the tee number 1 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And yes, I've included a lot of My Favorite Things Knitwear tee patterns in this knitting inspo video, because I think they're just great. They're just the perfect staple pieces, and this is what I enjoy to knit the most, like things that I know that I will certainly use. So the T number 1 by My Favorite Things Knitwear is a beautiful tee with long and airy and roomy sleeves. Actually, the yarn weight is fingering and the gauge is 24 stitches per 32 rows in stockinette stitch. My Favorite Things Knitwear was actually criticized a lot for the sizes that she created for her pattern, for the size inclusivity, but in this case she has a lot of sizes available. This pattern goes from extra small to 4XL, and I think that the measurements of the final garment go from 94 centimeters of chest circumference up to 146 centimeters of chest circumference. So this is a lot, guys. I really love this piece because it's very airy, because it's very light, but also I really like the details of the shoulder, which is almost a saddle shoulder construction. I also love the details around the collar, around the hem. I like this visible hem, and I think that all these details make this the perfect staple piece with that twist that makes it very recognizable. Actually, I don't know if I'll knit this, but during this summer. But maybe for autumn as a layering piece, this would be perfect. So yeah, I will definitely give priority to the bralette and the tops. But of course, if I will find the perfect yarn for this, I will probably knit myself this too. So down with another category, we have the category Sleepover and Best. And if you've seen my latest video, you will know that I have already the yarn and the pattern to knit myself a sleepover, which is the Vilma top by Gregoria Fibers. I'm absolutely in love with this pattern. I think it's so delicate, I think it's so elegant, I think it's so, yeah, it's so romantic at the same time. So I've presented to you this pattern a lot of times. The Vilma top is this beautiful, I would define it almost a cardigan without sleeves, because it's open and it has buttons, but it's this beautiful sort of jacket with these details of the ribbing, which has highlights, and also these sort of flowers going all over the piece. The yarn weight is Aran and the gauge is 21.5 stitches per 30 rounds in 10 centimeters. And I've actually knitted the gauge swatch because I've started working on my Vilma top some days ago. So here is my gauge swatch, which is not perfect, but yeah, I'm just in love with the details. And the yarn that I've chosen to use is Filcolana Peruvian Highland Wool. It's the first time for me working with Filcolana Peruvian Highland Wool and Filcolana in general, but I'm feeling very good working with it. I don't want to show you too much because I would like to keep those information for my new podcast episode. So like, if you're curious to see it, just press the subscribe button and I'll keep you posted, I promise. But as I want to say that the sizes available are for this piece are 9, and I'm knitting size 2. And yeah, the bust circumference of this piece go from 91 centimeters up to 135 centimeters. And the suggested is I think the suggested positive is I think between 7 and 10 centimeters of positive ease, but I'm not sure, could be 7 and 13, and I can't find the information here. But yeah, it's just a beautiful piece, guys. I think it's the perfect, like when you talk about sleepovers and vests, the idea of layers and of versatility, I think it's like almost like you don't need to say that, because of course if you need yourself a vest or if you need yourself a sleepover, you intend to layer it. And I think that this particular vest could go well both with tees, but also with shirts, but also with dresses. So I can't wait to finish this project. And after that, I have two gems, which are like on the warmer side. So I will probably keep these two patterns for autumn or for the end of summer. One is a cardigan, and the other one is let's say sweater, but it's called blouse. So the first pattern that I have in mind is a cardigan, and it's a cardigan by Knit. This is the sewn kimono. I've never knitted anything by Knit, but I can tell you guys that she has the most beautiful patterns ever. And I think that this winter I will knit so many of their sweaters, because they are like so specific and so like original, and you couldn't find anything like that in the knitting world, I think. So the sewn kimono really caught my eyes because of its airiness, because of its being so light and so versatile. You could use it both as a sort of cardigan, but at the same time it's simply it reminds me of those big scarves that you wrap yourself into when you feel a little that chilly air. So I think that this is perfect as a layering piece, because you can wear it with maybe a camisole or a tee underneath, also with a sleeveless top underneath. But at the same time, if you're wearing like a very light sweater, maybe you can put it on too, because it's so roomy, and that of course it wouldn't be a problem. So the yarn weight that is used actually is lace, but I think that the gauge is very open, because the gauge is 20 stitches per 34 rows in 10 centimeters. And the yarns which are used are by Ito. It's the Ito Sensai, which is the Ito's mohair, and I've tried that in the past, and I think that is one of the softest and most beautiful mohairs I've ever tried, and with Ito Kinu. And if you've never tried Ito, I would suggest you to do so, especially maybe with they are a bit pricey, but I've always seen them in like yarn shops, and I'm very curious about them. So maybe I will try to knit myself something with Ito yarns in the summer, because of course I would need less cones or skeins to knit myself a summer garment instead of of course winter garment. So this cardigan, this kimono, let's say, is super nice. It's so light, and actually the only problem for me is that there are just two sizes. Probably this is because of the fact that this is thought as a very light and oversized piece, so it just has two sizes, which I'm not a very big fan of, but I think I could like accept it if I really enjoy the pattern and if I find the perfect yarn to use for it. And lastly, I have a sweater, which is actually presented by the designer as a blouse, but I think that this could work better as a sweater for me because of where I live. So I'm talking about, of course, blouse number 1 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and I told you that that I had a lot of My Favorite Things knitwear patterns. So the reason why I tell you that for me this will be more of a sweater is for the yarn weight, which is Aran. So it's knitted using 2 yarns held together, 2 threads of light fingering held together, and I think that these would be perfect for me because I would like to have a sort of marbled sweater. And the gauge is 19 stitches per 27 rows in a 10 centimeter gauge. And again, my favorite things, Knitwear extended her typical and size range, because now she has sizes from extra small to 4XL, with bust circumferences going from 72 centimeters up to 125 centimeters, and this is a pretty fitted garments, I think. I would do one modification to this pattern. It is the fact that I really love actually the sleeves, which becomes a little bit wider going towards the hands, but at the same time I wouldn't need the body completely like without any increases or decreases, because my ankles are not very wide, so I fear that if I knit this kind of piece without doing any any modification to the pattern, I would seem like completely a sort of tube, let's say. So I would do some increases to the pattern in order to make it maybe a bit wider at the bottom and help myself having a sort of shape. But this is just personal preferences, and I don't know. I don't own the pattern, so I don't know if the pattern already includes this kind of modification. What I should say about this pattern is that when My Favorite Things Knitwear released this pattern, I wasn't sure I really liked it. I don't know, it had something weird, something strange. I couldn't really understand if I could use something like that in my wardrobe or not. But the more I looked at it, I really thought it was different and new, and I really thought it was perfect. Like I was telling you about layering the sewn kimono, and I think that the sewn kimono over this blouse number 1 is just perfect. So in this sense, I mean layering piece, and also with this kind of neck, I think it would be very nice to have underneath maybe a sleeveless top in a very neutral color and let it show a little bit, also in order to cover maybe bra straps. Yeah, I think that this could be very nice. And I see this either in a I see this in that limey green that I was telling you before. So guys, this is my knitting inspo, summer knitting inspo for this year. I don't know how many pieces I will be able to knit because of all the difficulties and problems that I was telling you before, but I'm really confident that I will succeed in knitting at least the bralette, the Vilma top, and maybe some of the other tops and things for which I already have the yarn for. I don't know if you have any other pattern recommendation on this same line. I'm very curious to know what you plan to knit. So if you want to leave a comment here saying maybe which was your favorite pattern that I named today, or if you have a specific idea for this summer, just please let me know, because I think that these kind of videos are the perfect way to find inspiration and to find new ideas when it comes to knitting. And also, if you have some other pattern recommendations also for other people watching this video, please share them in the comments, because I'm sure that this will be useful. And I forgot to say that I have all these patterns that I talked to you about saved in a Ravelry bundle that I will link in the description. And of course in the description you will have all the details of the pattern, all the names of the patterns that I named today. And I think that this is all for today. Yeah, I think so. I had a lot of fun filming this video, and I think that this helped me finding some new inspiration and some new knitting mojo for summer, so I'm very happy. And yeah, this is all. So bye guys, and happy knitting.